You are the one who increases the virtue of the prayer. It doesn't matter how you pray. What matters is your sincerity. See, let me give you an example from the Messenger of Allah. He says, in the end times, if a wealthy person from my community spends a truckload of gold in the way of Allah, just think, what could be done with a truckload of gold? Isn't that right, Mr. Semi? What good deeds could be accomplished? But in my time, if one of my companions gives away half a handful, not even a full handful, just half a handful of barley in charity for the sake of Allah, he will have a greater reward in the sight of Allah than the one who donates a truckload of gold and does good deeds. No matter how many times you say, Ya Karim, if you are not sincere, if you lack sincerity, it means nothing. There is no respect. I'm saying this to myself. I don't mean to offend you. Look, is there any rule that says if you say Allah as many millions of times as that Sheikh says, your rank will increase by that much? Just look at that. Look at all the odes. It says, whoever says Allah once with love has attained eternal happiness, has been saved. Just look, you only need to say Allah once. How easy that is, right, Mustafa? We say it so many times every day, Murad Bey, but it means nothing. Isn't that right, Swat Bey? Why? Because we lack sincerity. Allah looks at your sincerity. That's what matters. Sometimes I notice how fortunate we are to have respect, but the man is a Hafiz, isn't he? His whole demeanor, the way he walks, changes. Shouldn't your walk become more humble when you become a Hafiz? You should be more modest. You are a living Quran. Look at Satan. He was a Hafiz with as much emphasis as you. He had memorized the Quran, the Torah, the Gospel and the Psalms. Have you ever seen anyone say, let me memorize the Torah after the Quran as well, Alpar? I haven't seen it, I don't know. Where would you see it? Look at the outcome. Because he did not observe proper manners, he was expelled from the divine presence. Sheikh Effendi used to say, Satan has prostrated on every inch of the earth. Look at this. He worshipped Allah for 1,500 years. But he did it in heedlessness. Isn't it just like me saying, I am this much? He says, I am devoted to Barber Ramazan. So what if you are devoted? I do this much dhikr. Once in Cyprus, I met someone like that. He says, I have an acquaintance there, Hokufendi. There are already so many self-proclaimed sheikhs and qutubs. If you swing your cap, it hits a qutub. He says, he does 1,000,000 dhikr a day. I asked, how does he do it? He had a tasbih with 500 beads in his hand. He pulls it once 300, he pulls it again 200, that's 500. So those who claim to do 10 million, 1,000,000 dhikru, are you fooling now? Look, they immediately become a qutb. 300 here, 500 there, just like that. Does Allah say this? Does He say He loves someone just because they do this much dhikr or that much remembrance? What does He say? He says, I look at the heart. How is your heart? Do as much as you like if you want.